So this is what you do about other critters in the barn. So we've been baiting for the mice with the tomcat mouse and rat bait. And I noticed that in the old manure piles there were some tunnels. So I was really concerned that there might be rats. And I've never seen one. I had decided that whatever we get, we get. But one of my subscribers left me a comment that the raccoons are immune to the tomcat bait, and all of the bits that I was putting up in the loft were just disappearing. And I had thought, well, I'll try and anchor them down with a string through them, and I knew that that would make a difference. But we could still tell that there was activity in the barn, and I had only come up with a few dead mice. So half the barn is full to the brim with hay and straw. So there is no way to find every mouse as I, look through this. As we feed any hay, we'll find dead mice. And that's been the case so far. I'll move a bale and I'll see like a little tunnel, and find out that there was a dead mouse in there. So I had just noticed right here, there's some pawing right here at this spot, and it's very, very low, and there's only about an inch clearance under there. So there's still mice crawling around, unless that possum was pawing at it. He's not happy. I wasn't really watching just now. He's moving all around. I don't think he can get his paws through there, but I'm not taking any chances. So I actually did some research online just yesterday. This is our 4th possum that we've caught in about 6 or 7 days. That's really good. Now, I love my live traps, but these live traps that I currently am using have a tendency to have a weak spot with the very large raccoons. And I looked up online what is the reproduction cycle for the possums, and they can have 1 to 3 litters a year and up to 13 babies. Their reproduction cycle is like sporadic. They don't have a regular ovulation cycle, and the possums can get them pregnant basically after they're a few months old. And the size of the litters and the maturity of the possums can really create a problem on a farm like this, because they're going to go after my chickens. Now, they're outside during the day and they're wired in at night, but these are clawed little buggers, and they'll grab them through the chicken wire. And I had learned a long time ago, I told you, the chicken wire is actually very weak. Hardware cloth has much heavier build and design through it, because they're all welded. They're all just spot welded in between, woven very, very tightly, and you can get it in different gauges and different sizes also. So if you're building anything you want to be predator proof, go with the hardware cloth. It's so much better than chicken wire. Chicken wire is for keeping chickens in, not for keeping predators out, so keep that in mind. So this is an Advantech live trap, and like I said, the weak spot on these, they have this wire reinforced lever here, and I can't, really show you how it all works with him in there, but you can see here how that curves. It is not supposed to curve quite like that. The whole thing's been cocked sideways, and a very large possum had been caught in here at one point, and they pushed and pushed and pushed. And their little fingers, and they were able to get up. Now, my cats have gotten caught in here. They can't get out. It's those little finger-like claws that they have. The possums have not been able to get out. And occasionally I have noticed that it won't go off. Now, for some reason, the way that has been bent, this spring here is not supposed to be going upwards like that. I have to kind of manually get it into the right spot, because it's supposed to go into the slot and just retract. And maybe that's what's helping them to kind of figure out how to get out. So I fiddled with it. I've done everything I could. I would say get a better brand. I have another older live trap, and it's got a little hook that goes up into it that holds the door open, and it's very fussy. You can trigger it to go off right away as soon as they step on the little plunger pad, or what you can do too is latch it hard and bait them. A lot of times we have gotten 2 to 3 raccoons in one trap because the babies went in with the mom, and not necessarily babies, but young ones, and then they get used to going in and getting the food, and then you set it so that it'll go off and they're in. They can't get out. So this is my other live trap that I had mentioned, and it doesn't have any kind of labeling on the front to even know what brand it was, and we had it long before we had our farm. He also tends to dispatch the animals in the live trap instead of letting them go and having to chase them down. That's just not something that I want to do to the animal or for ourselves, for our own safety. Sometimes, you know, they've been in here 12, 18 hours before they get finished off, but you can see large holes from the gun that he was using at the time, and there's 1-inch openings on it, so you can easily, you know, put the barrel in or up close and take aim. But like at the back, there's different size grids, and in the front they're larger, so keep that in mind. But the front is much stronger. It's got the welded wire framework. This is what keeps it from getting pushed open, so you have to make sure you have that. If you buy them used, they're used for a reason. It's, I think, better to just go ahead and get one that you know is going to go off when it's supposed to. This one's a bit touchy. So they can be touchy opening, especially if they've had damage over time from shooting the animals while they're still in the pen. Our trigger plate down there has got some bullet holes through it that kind of need to be pressed out. And you can kind of adjust them to make them work, but this welded wire framework and the welded wire front makes it a much stronger option. And then I can set the sensitivity with that hook to make it go off when it's supposed to. So whatever live trap brand you end up going with, you want to make sure that it's got a good warranty from the company and that they're going to be around to be able to honor the warranty. So obviously if it's all shot up like this one, they're not going to want to warranty it. And it still works on occasion, but I have to fiddle with it a lot. If you set your trap for a year, you will notice a huge difference the following year with the amount of predators that go around your farm. This year we didn't trap a whole lot. We had so many issues with the traps not going off when they were supposed to, and I found that cat food is the best bait in the live traps. I've tried proteins, I've tried vegetables. We have woodchucks living underneath the hay elevator, and there's these little weird tunnels here and there. So, you know, along the sides of the barn, I have noticed that we have lost very few chickens this year because we took so many of those raccoons out the year before. And, you know, it's hard to say don't be sentimental about the cute little babies, but those babies, like the raccoons, they're going to turn around, multiply, have a litter of 6. It's 2 or 3 litters a year. It's just like the possums, and they're constantly looking for a free meal, and it's your chickens. It's your rabbits, it's any livestock that they can get to. And, you know, it's just not worth having the trouble. You know, what if you had a calf in the barn that had a run-in with a sick possum or a sick raccoon and end up losing everything you put into your cow and your calf for that year and year and a half and growing it up to breed. So I asked for some new live traps for Christmas because I'd had so much difficulty with mine in the past. He says, we don't need any more, but there's so much land here on this property that you could just trap and trap like crazy, and it's much easier, safer, and humane to dispatch them this way. So get yourself some live traps and keep at it. Do that predator protection for your animals. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you all next time. Remember to hit that like button for liking the video and the notification bell so you know when the next video comes out. We'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.